when I think right now we have, with all products, I think we have close to 80,000 reviews.
Wow.
And they average 4.6 stars. And sometimes I'm asked, what if a product gets bad reviews? And if a product gets bad reviews, that's telling me that I'm not doing a good job. So I make that product go away until we could fix it. And it might be, so our marine collagen that we'll talk about at midnight, perfect example. When it first came out, it averaged 2 stars. It didn't mix as easily as it should if you wanted to put it in water, even though most people put it in a smoothie. It had a little bit of a fishy taste. We fixed that so well that mathematically it's hard to accomplish. It now averages over 4 stars. Because all of the more recent reviews that came in have basically been 5-star reviews. But I listened to your feedback, and on no product have I listened to the feedback more than on this product that we've constantly improved since we introduced it. And it's one of those products that there's nothing else like it available anywhere in the world. And if you read the reviews on this, as compelling as the reviews are on Essential 1 or my omega-3s or my glucosamine product, the reviews on this product are truly, they're moving. They're passionate reviews of a product that no one expects it to have the powerful impact on their life. And I always talk about the benefit of the benefit. Certainly, benefiting the circulation in our legs, benefiting the swelling in our legs, that's an incredible benefit. But when that results in our having a better quality of life and going about living our lives in a more just engaged fashion, now that's truly the benefit I think we all seek.
Isn't that the truth? I will show you. This is, again, birthday priced. It'll be one of your last chances to see this presented at the birthday price, so I want to break it down for you. People adore this product. It is life-changing, as Andrew said. It is beyond what you could expect. If you are not taking it yet, I really hope you'll try it today. It's a 30, 60, 180, or 360 count. Here is where the pricing normally is. After the visit, here's where the pricing goes. Right now, last day of Andrew's visit, here's where the pricing is: 40, 20, 11, or $6 off, depending on the size you're choosing to order. This is one of Andrew's absolute best-selling products. It's one of our top reorder products from Andrew Lessman. Also at HSN, it is one of our top reorder products. People love this product. People are impassioned when you read the reviews. It's inspiring when you read the reviews. We oftentimes refer to this as a nurse's product because nurses, you know, we love our nurses. Nurses do an amazing job of taking care of us when we are in need, when we're ill, when we're in a hospital. And the key is they're on their feet all day for their shift, all day. So if you are a nurse, if you are a flight attendant, if you are a teacher, if you're anybody who's, if you work in retail. Or you sit too much, because if you sit or stand a lot, this is your product. And the reason it was interesting back when we would take calls during the shows, and we don't tend to take calls during the shows. We'll probably do it on a Monday when we're just answering questions, because when there's always a risk that someone's going to give a testimonial, as in the past, talking about treating a disease and things like that, and that's just not. We were having to bleep out the callers. We never had to bleep anything, but it's just something that is just inappropriate. I see. It's the nature of Food and Drug law, but that I don't want people to be making disease claims for products that they're drugs or medicine. So that's why we don't field calls during our normal shows. But at that time, we had just dozens of nurses calling in about this product and its benefits. And probably no one spends more time on their feet than a nurse does. And with this product, I'm always torn between reading the reviews that are so passionate, but reading the clinical science, which is equally passionate. The clinical science talks about the benefits of this product, and it talks about the benefits being incredibly rapid. I mean, which shall I do? Shall I do a little of both? Shall I grab some of the science? I mean, I could just grab a couple of these charts right here. I mean, the reviews, there are over 2,400 out of 2,700 are excellent reviews on this product. So 2,200 perfect 5-star, another over 200 4-star reviews, and that's out of 2,700 total. So about 85% are 5-star reviews. That's right. And well over 90% are 4- and 5-star reviews, are positive reviews. But this, I just grabbed some of the science to give you a sense that the ingredients in this product, I mean, and it makes it, and how could I express this best? As we age, the circulation, so many things change in our bodies as we age. We look older, we move differently, we sense and feel things differently. One of the most apparent things that change as we get older, in all of us, I don't care how active we are, and certainly I'm
as almost as active today as I was, say, 35, 40 years ago. That no matter how active I am, things change. The circulation, the appearance of my feet, ankles, and calves has changed. But mine, I think, because I use this product, are youthful, and because I remain active and I try to take care of myself. But it's something that changes. And the fact is, our blood vessels, the appearance will change in our feet, ankles, and calves. Inescapable. That's something that's part of the normal aging process. The swelling in our feet over the course of our day, our feet, ankles, and calves, they enlarge. Over the course of our lifetime, they enlarge. That's to be expected. So we could just say, okay, that's just the way it is. I'm not going to do anything about it. But I think human nature, hopefully, we're sort of optimistic. We have a positive outlook. We try to do something about it. We try to stem the tide or push back the clock a little bit, the calendar a little bit in terms of the impact, the effects of aging, especially when the effects are unpleasant, whether it be visually or physically unpleasant. This is a product that provides that opportunity. The reviews are crystal clear. The reviews are virtually unanimous, and they're not 30 or 40 reviews. There's 3,000 reviews, and I think there are 3,000 reviews, right? There's over 3,000 reviews, most of which, not most, almost unanimously are positive reviews. So I'll just read some science here quickly, because the science is why I make the product. And we have continued to improve the product over the years, but from international angiology, the efficacy was clearly demonstrated. So we're talking about the key ingredient in this product. The efficacy of it was clearly demonstrated with a rapid improvement. Usually you don't hear those kinds of adjectives and adverbs in science. Clearly and rapid improvement of functional signs in the first months being maintained until the end of the study. The reduction of ankle and calf circumferences, the size of the ankles and calves, is probably linked to a decrease in plasma filtration through capillary walls. That's just leakage. That's as we get older, the health of those blood vessels, their functional characteristics are not as good. They're leaky. And that's what it is. It's sort of as we get older, things don't work as well. This fact confirms the positive role of diosmin with hesperidin on tissue microcirculation. Plus, we've added butcher's broom, which just enhances it even more. The use from the International Journal of Microcirculation, the use of diosmin with hesperidin has been shown to improve venous tone, the tone of our blood vessels, microvascular permeability, lymphatic activity, and microcirculatory nutritive flow. Those characteristics are why it can reduce the swelling and enlargement of blood vessels and the swelling of those tissues. From angiology, pharmacological and clinical studies demonstrated the comprehensive mode of action of diosmin with hesperidin. It increases venous tone, it improves lymph drainage, and it protects the microcirculation. I should probably read some reviews too, but I would encourage you, if your circulation or the appearance of the blood vessels, the appearance of your feet, ankles, and calves today aren't what they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. If you're 85, 90, 95 years old and you think, this product can't help me, I'm too old. The best reviews, the most passionate reviews come from those who are even older. So it's something that works at all ages because we all share that same basic fundamental anatomy and the challenges that come with these blood vessels that gravity wants to hold fluid down there. Our heart is pumping fluid in that direction, and the only way it gets it back up is by pumping more behind it, basically. So it's just a challenge that's to be expected, but I think what's unexpected is that you can make a difference. All
right, I know we have to wrap this up. We would love to talk about it longer, but we have several items to get to before midnight. Midnight's in 12 minutes.
And the pricing on this goes up dramatically.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is, again, last day of Andrew's visit, so definitely if you need to restock, circulate